This is a tutorial on GitHub and using command prompt and the terminal in VS Code. So I'm using a Windows PC, so I am going to start with my command prompt. So first of all, I want to access a folder that's on my desktop. Actually, you can see it right here. I'm going to use the command cd. CD stands for change directory. I'm basically telling it, hey, I want to go to this folder. So cd and then the name of the folder, which is desktop. But remember, I said I want to go to a folder that's on my desktop. So cd again, and this time the name of the folder that I want to enter. The name of the folder is tutorials. So I'm actually going into that folder. So tutorials. So now I'm inside of that folder. While I'm here, I want to create a new folder or a new directory. The command for that is mkdir make dir, which is basically make directory. When you make a directory, you need to name that folder as well. So I'm just going to call it test. Enter. Now, all I did was make the folder, but I want to go inside of that new folder that I just made. So I'm going to use the command cd again. So cd test because I want to go inside of that folder that I just created. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and open Visual Studio Code because I want to create a file and then we're going to push it to GitHub. And you can actually do that from the command prompt. The command is code space period, hit enter, and it opens up Visual Studio Code. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to create a file. So you can create a file or a folder using the GUI, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to open the terminal, and in the terminal I'm going to create my file. The command for that is touch. The name of the file I'm going to create is going to be greeting.js because I want it to be a JavaScript file. As you can see, it popped up here in the GUI. I would like to point out that I'm using bash. I'm using git bash and not what is normally in VS Code, which I believe is PowerShell. Bash uses commands that are similar or identical, I should say, to Linux commands. So now that I've created my file, I'm going to go ahead and type something in it. So console.log, and we'll just do hello world, right? I'm going to hit save. And now I'm ready for GitHub. So how am I going to get this onto GitHub? Well, let's go to GitHub first. So here's my GitHub. I'm going to click on repositories and I'm going to click on new. And I have to name this repository something. I am just going to call it test. So I can make this public or private, but I'm just going to leave it as public. It's no big deal. And I could also add a README file. I personally do not like adding README files on GitHub. If I'm ready for a README file, I do that on VS Code. So create repository. Once you click on create repository, it automatically brings you to this page with a set of commands and the link to your repository. Which set of commands you use depends on what you're doing. We're just creating a new repository. And it was mostly on the command line, but now it's on the terminal, which is similar. So we're going to use these steps right here. Ideally, you could just copy and paste, and it'll do it all for you, but I'm going to do one by one because I am not going to do the first step. So I'm going to go back to Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to type in the command git init. This is going to initialize an empty Git repository inside of this folder. So the next step, it says git add readme.md, but I don't want a readme file, so I'm just going to do git add, and you write the name of the file that you want to add. but I just like to use a period. A period automatically just adds everything in the folder. Right now I only have one file anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Next step is git commit. Here you have to actually type out a message. So dash lowercase m and then in quotes a message of what you're doing. Since this is our first commit, I'm just going to put first commit. Enter. So next I need a branch. If you didn't notice, it says master here. So this is the name of the branch you're in, but it is customary to actually use main. So we're going to do git branch. Did I spell that right? Nope. Git branch, uppercase or capital letter M, and then main. So now instead of master, it says main. Now I'm ready for the link. So the link is right here, and you can just copy it, or you could just copy this line. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to copy the line because why not? So it's git remote add origin, and the origin is the link. Enter. And then final step, we're going to push. We're going to push up to GitHub. So -u origin is my main branch. I hit enter. And so now this is in GitHub. This set of instructions only pops up after you've created the repository. But now that we've finally pushed something up to the repository, you won't see this anymore. I'm going to click on test, and this is what you're going to see. The link is still here, but you just have to click on code to get it. This is my greetings.js file. Here's my message. It says 2 minutes ago. If I click on my JS file, as you can see, console.log hello world. This is what I had over here on VS Code, and it is now on GitHub. I hope you found this tutorial to be useful, especially if you are brand new to coding or brand new to GitHub.